Alright, listen up, because what I'm about to tell you is a game changer, a paradigm shift in how you approach your relationships with women. Forget everything you think you know about chasing, about showering her with affection, about constantly seeking her validation. The brutal truth, the truth no one else dares to utter, is that women don't desire a man they can easily have, they crave a man they have to earn, a man who commands respect without uttering a single word. The very instant you begin chasing her, you inadvertently position yourself beneath her, diminishing your value and extinguishing the flame of attraction. But what if you could flip the script, rewrite the narrative, and demonstrate that you're not playing by her rules? What if you could make her fight for the privilege of being in your life? That's precisely what I'm going to teach you today. This is about reclaiming your power, resetting the dynamics, and transforming yourself into the man women find irresistible, not because of what you do or say, but because of the inherent strength and self-assuredness you exude. We've all been fed the same insidious lie, the one that equates effort with affection, that suggests the more you pour in, the more she'll reciprocate. But the reality is a stark contrast: the harder you try, the faster she retreats. Think about it, how often have you witnessed guys bending over backwards, orchestrating elaborate dates, sending endless texts, showering her with extravagant gifts, only to find themselves met with indifference, ghosting, or a slow, agonizing fade? It's because the more you lavish upon her, the less she values you. Consider the basic principles of human psychology. When was the last time you genuinely desired something that was simply handed to you, effortlessly, without any investment of time, energy, or resources? The chase, the pursuit, the challenge, that's what imbues something with value, with meaning, with significance. And in the same vein, when you cease chasing her, when you transform yourself into a challenge, you become a prize worth fighting for, a man worthy of her attention and affection. This is your opportunity, your pivotal moment, to seize control, to rewrite the rules, and to change the entire dynamic of your relationships. So, let's dive right in, dissect the underlying principles, and equip you with the actionable strategies you need to flip the power dynamic and make her yearn for your presence in her life. Number 1. Understanding why she pulled back. Before we even delve into the tactics, the strategies, the actionable steps, it's absolutely crucial that you understand the underlying reasons why she's pulling back in the first place. Because let me tell you, this isn't random, it's not capricious, it's not a sudden, inexplicable shift in her affections. Women don't simply pull away for no reason. It's all about power dynamics, about the intricate interplay of control, attraction, and perceived value within a relationship. When a woman feels like she has too much control in a relationship, when she perceives that she holds all the cards, the attraction inevitably begins to wane. It's not a conscious decision on her part, it's a deeply ingrained aspect of human psychology, a primal response to imbalance. If she feels like she's got you on a leash, that you're readily available, constantly seeking her approval, and excessively eager to please, she'll grow bored, restless, and eventually, she'll start looking elsewhere for a more stimulating and challenging dynamic. The harsh reality, the truth that many men struggle to accept, is that people simply don't value what comes too easily. It's human nature, a fundamental aspect of our psychological wiring. And in relationships, it's no different. If you've been overly available, too eager to please, too quick to respond to her texts, calls, or social media posts, you've already diminished your value in her eyes. Think about it, when she knows you're always going to pick up the phone, always going to be there for her, always going to be showering her with attention and affection, she stops appreciating your presence. She starts taking you for granted, assuming your devotion is a constant, unwavering, and unconditional. And the moment she feels like she doesn't need to work for your attention, that your affection is guaranteed, she'll pull back, creating distance and seeking validation elsewhere. Let me break it down for you with even greater clarity. Women test men, constantly, subtly, and often unconsciously. They do it without even realizing it, through a series of seemingly innocuous actions and behaviors. These tests come in various forms: pulling back, acting cold, becoming distant, taking longer to respond to messages, or subtly shifting the level of engagement in the relationship. It's her way of gauging how much control she has over you, of assessing your emotional resilience and your ability to maintain your composure in the face of her subtle challenges. If you react by chasing her, bombarding her with texts, attempting to fix things by showering her with gifts or affection, you're inadvertently telling her that she's in charge, that she can dictate the terms of the relationship, and that you're willing to jump through hoops to regain her approval. And that's precisely when she loses attraction. She perceives your neediness, your desperation, and your willingness to sacrifice your own needs and desires to appease her, and that perception diminishes your value in her eyes. Maybe you've been dating for a few months, and she starts taking longer to reply to your texts, leaving you on read for hours or even days. At first, you shrug it off, attributing it to a busy schedule or a momentary lapse in communication. But after a while, it becomes clear that she's pulling away, creating distance, and subtly shifting the dynamics of the relationship. Your instinct, fueled by a desire to maintain the connection and avoid conflict, tells you to fix it, to send a thoughtful text, to surprise her with something sweet, to reaffirm your affection and commitment. But here's what you need to understand, the crucial insight that will transform your approach to relationships: the moment you give her that validation, the moment you succumb to the urge to chase and appease, you lose even more ground. It's not about fixing things on the surface, about addressing the immediate symptoms of her withdrawal. It's about resetting the power dynamic entirely, about reclaiming your value, and about demonstrating that you're not going to tolerate being taken for granted. It's about subtly communicating that you're a man of worth, a man of options, and a man who values himself enough to walk away from a relationship that doesn't respect his needs and boundaries. Number 2, emotional detachment. Now that you possess a clear understanding of why she's pulling back, now that you've grasped the underlying dynamics of power, attraction, and perceived value, it's time to introduce the most powerful tool in your arsenal, the one that has the potential to completely transform your relationships and empower you to command respect without uttering a single word: emotional detachment. When you pull back emotionally, when you cease investing excessive amounts of time, energy, and emotional resources into the relationship, you create space for her to miss you, to reflect on your absence, and to reevaluate her feelings towards you. The minute you stop caring so much, the minute you relinquish the need for her validation and approval, she will, paradoxically, start caring more. And this isn't about playing games, about engaging in manipulative tactics, or about attempting to deliberately hurt her feelings. It's about regaining your power, about reclaiming your self-worth, and about commanding respect by demonstrating that your happiness and well-being don't depend on her validation. Emotional detachment is a game changer, a paradigm shift that fundamentally alters the dynamics of your relationships. Most guys fail here, they stumble, they falter, because they erroneously believe that showing less interest will make them lose the girl for good, that withdrawing their affection will drive her away permanently. But here's the paradox, the counterintuitive truth that unlocks the secret to attraction: the moment you stop being readily available, the moment you cease obsessing over every little thing she does or says, the moment you relinquish the desperate pursuit of her validation, you become attractive again. Think about the last time you desperately wanted something you couldn't have, whether it was a coveted job, a lucrative business deal, or even the attention of someone you admire. That feeling of wanting it more precisely because it was out of reach, that intense desire fueled by scarcity and perceived value, that's precisely what happens to her when you pull back emotionally. You need to act like you're completely unbothered by her pulling away, like her distance and subtle shifts in behavior have no impact on your emotional state. No texts, no calls, no checking her Instagram stories every 5 minutes, no subtle attempts to gauge her interest or affection. You become a ghost, a phantom presence, a figure shrouded in mystery and intrigue. Why? Because your silence speaks louder than any words you could possibly utter. The minute she feels your absence, the minute she realizes that you're not constantly monitoring her social media activity or eagerly awaiting her next text message, she starts thinking about you again. She starts wondering if she made a mistake, if she misjudged your feelings, if you're seeing someone else, if you've moved on to greener pastures. And that's when the tables begin to turn. She's no longer in control of the narrative, you've subtly shifted the power dynamic by demonstrating that your happiness doesn't depend on her validation. In today's hyperconnected world, where people are more accessible than ever before, where social media, texting, and FaceTime have blurred the lines of personal space and created a constant stream of information and interaction, it's incredibly difficult to go even a day without knowing what someone is doing, who they're with, or what their latest thoughts and feelings are. But that's precisely why emotional detachment works so well, why it has the potential to create such a powerful and transformative impact. When you're not reacting to her posts, not engaging with her updates, not liking her photos, not commenting on her stories, she starts to feel your absence in a way that's impossible to ignore. She realizes that you've removed yourself from the constant stream of validation and attention that she's accustomed to, and that realization sparks a sense of unease, curiosity, and even a touch of desperation. She starts to question her assumptions about your feelings, to wonder if she's underestimated your value, and to reevaluate her position in your life. This isn't about being cruel or malicious, it's about reclaiming your power and creating a space for her to truly appreciate your presence in her life. Number 3, avoiding common mistakes. Here's where most guys blow it, where they sabotage their own efforts and undo all the progress they've made. They panic. When they don't hear from her, when they're met with silence or indifference, when they perceive a subtle shift in her behavior, they succumb to fear, anxiety, and desperation. And in their panicked state, they start making mistakes, ill-advised decisions that completely undermine their efforts to regain control and attract her attention. They send a text, rationalizing it as a casual check-in or a friendly gesture. They comment on her Instagram post, attempting to subtly signal their continued interest. They ask mutual friends about her, seeking information and reassurance. These might seem like small, insignificant moves, but each one of them destroys your chances of getting her back, of resetting the power dynamic, and of transforming yourself into the man she desires. Most guys can't handle the silence. They can't tolerate the uncertainty, the ambiguity, the fear of losing her. They think, I'll just send one message, just to check in, just to let her know I'm thinking about her. But here's the truth, the brutal reality that you need to internalize, that one message is enough to blow the entire plan. It's enough to shatter the carefully constructed image of emotional detachment and reveal your underlying neediness and desperation. Why? Because the moment you reach out, the moment you initiate contact, you've shown her that you're still thinking about her, that she's still in control, and that you're willing to break your silence to seek her validation. And once she knows that, you've lost the upper hand. She's no longer wondering about your feelings, she's no longer questioning her assumptions, and she's no longer feeling the pressure of your absence. You've given her the reassurance she craved, and in doing so, you've diminished your value and reinforced her control. Let's say she posts a picture of herself looking amazing on Instagram, maybe even a little provocative, subtly fishing for attention and validation. Your instinct, fueled by desire and a longing for her approval, might be to like the photo, maybe even drop a comment or DM her about how great she looks, how stunning she is, how much you admire her beauty. But guess what? That's exactly what she wants. She's testing you, subtly, unconsciously, to see if you'll take the bait, to see if you'll succumb to the urge to validate her and reaffirm your interest. And by giving it to her, by showering her with compliments and attention, you're validating her behavior, you're reinforcing her control, and you're diminishing your own value. You're showing her that you're still hooked, that you're still susceptible to her charms, and that you're willing to jump through hoops to gain her approval. The worst part is, when you engage with her on social media, when you like her photos, comment on her posts, or DM her with compliments, you give her the validation she needs without having to work for it. She gets to feel desired and wanted, all without actually putting in the effort to earn your attention back. She's essentially getting free validation, reaping the rewards of your attention without having to invest any emotional energy in return. That's why you need to ignore it all. No likes, no comments, no DMs, no subtle attempts to signal your interest. Let her wonder why you haven't noticed, let her miss your attention, let her feel the pressure of your absence. Number 4, the power of no contact. Now we're getting into one of the most effective strategies, one that has the power to completely reset the power dynamic, to ignite her curiosity, and to make her yearn for your presence in her life, the no-contact rule. This is where you go completely silent, where you sever all lines of communication, where you disappear from her life completely. No texts, no calls, no social media interactions, no checking in with mutual friends, no subtle attempts to gauge her interest or affection. You become a ghost, a phantom presence, a figure shrouded in mystery and intrigue. And this is what flips the switch in her mind, what disrupts her expectations, and what forces her to reevaluate her feelings towards you. No contact is psychological warfare, a strategic maneuver designed to challenge her assumptions, disrupt her control, and ignite her desire. Women are used to men who can't handle the silence, who crumble under pressure, who desperately seek their validation and approval. They expect you to chase, to reach out, to keep the conversation going, to shower them with attention and affection. But when you don't do any of that, when you defy their expectations and break the established patterns, it disrupts their entire sense of control. Suddenly, she's not the one in power anymore, you are. She starts wondering what happened, what changed, what caused you to withdraw your attention and affection. Did you lose interest? Are you seeing someone else? Did you finally realize that you deserve better? And this fear of losing you, this realization that she might have underestimated your value, drives her crazy. For the next 30 days, you are a ghost. You don't text her, call her, or interact with her in any way. Not even a, "Hey, just checking in" message. Not even a subtle attempt to gauge her interest or affection. You completely disappear from her radar. And trust me, this will be the hardest part. This will test your resolve, your discipline, and your commitment to transforming yourself into the man she desires. Most guys can't handle the idea of complete silence. They get impatient, thinking, what if she moves on? What if she forgets about me? What if she finds someone else? But here's the reality, the crucial insight that will empower you to persevere: the longer you stay silent, the more she'll miss you. In today's hyper-connected world, where people are used to constant connection, where everyone is texting, snapping, and sharing their every thought and feeling on social media, it's incredibly rare to experience true silence, to be completely cut off from someone's life. But when you go dark, when she can't see what you're doing, who you're with, or where you are, it creates a void, an emptiness that she can't ignore. And that void is what makes her realize what she's missing, what she's taken for granted, and what she's potentially lost. She'll start to wonder, to question, to analyze every interaction you've had, searching for clues and trying to understand what caused you to withdraw your attention. And eventually, that curiosity will turn into action. She'll reach out. She'll attempt to break the silence, to gauge your interest, and to re-establish the connection. Number 5, how to stay focused during the pullback. The biggest mistake men make during no contact, the one that sabotages their efforts and prevents them from achieving the desired results, is sitting around waiting for her to text. They obsess over when she's going to reach out, constantly checking their phones every 5 minutes, analyzing every notification, and imagining every possible scenario. They become consumed by the anticipation, allowing their anxiety and desperation to fester and grow. But that's not what no contact is about. That's not the purpose of this strategic maneuver. The point is to focus on you, to invest your time, energy, and emotional resources into improving yourself, into becoming the best version of yourself possible. While you're going no contact, while you're maintaining that disciplined silence and resisting the urge to reach out, you need to be actively improving yourself in every possible way. Hit the gym, sculpt your physique, and boost your confidence. Build your business, pursue your passions, and create a life of purpose and meaning. Learn new skills, expand your knowledge, and challenge yourself intellectually. This is your time to shine, your opportunity to transform yourself into the kind of man she can't resist. You're not just sitting around waiting for her to come back, you're making her want to come back by becoming the kind of man she can't afford to lose. When she finally reaches out, when she attempts to break the silence and re-establish the connection, you don't want to be the same guy she pulled away from. You don't want to be the same needy, insecure, and validation-seeking individual she lost interest in. You want to be a completely new version of yourself, stronger, more confident, more successful, and more self-assured. This isn't just about making her miss you, it's about leveling up your life, about elevating yourself to a new level of success and fulfillment. It's about creating a life that's so compelling, so engaging, and so rewarding that when she does come back, you're the prize, the coveted reward that she's eager to win. Look at some of the most successful men in the world, the titans of industry, the visionary leaders, the groundbreaking innovators. Many of them hit their peak, achieved their greatest successes, after going through a major setback, a painful breakup, a devastating failure, or a profound loss. They used that pain, that disappointment, that adversity as fuel to become better, to push themselves harder, and to achieve levels of success they never thought possible. And that's exactly what you need to do. When she sees that you've transformed, that you've built a life that's bigger and better than before, that you're radiating confidence and success, she'll want to be a part of it. She'll see that you're no longer the same vulnerable, validation-seeking man she lost interest in, but a powerful, self-assured individual who is capable of achieving anything he sets his mind to. Number 6. Use heartbreak as fuel. Heartbreak is painful, there's no doubt about it. The sting of rejection, the ache of loneliness, the gnawing feeling of loss can be overwhelming, threatening to consume you and derail your progress. But heartbreak is also the most powerful fuel you'll ever have, a potent catalyst that can propel you towards extraordinary growth and achievement. Every time you feel the urge to text her, every time you feel that sting of rejection, every time you're tempted to succumb to self-pity, use it as fuel to push yourself harder, to invest more intensely in your personal development, and to strive for even greater success. Most men waste heartbreak by wallowing in self-pity, indulging in destructive behaviors, and allowing their pain to consume them. But this is your chance to turn it into a weapon, to harness its power and use it to transform yourself into a stronger, more resilient, and more successful individual. Heartbreak doesn't just have to be a moment of weakness, it can be the start of the strongest version of yourself. Turn your pain into power, transform your disappointment into determination, and use your heartache as a springboard to launch yourself towards a brighter future. Heartbreak can either destroy you or build you, the choice is yours. You can either sit around feeling sorry for yourself, replaying every conversation in your mind, stalking her on social media, and wondering where you went wrong, or you can use that pain to transform into a stronger, more successful version of yourself. You can choose to wallow in despair, or you can choose to rise above it and use it as a catalyst for growth. And trust me, when she sees what you've become, when she witnesses your transformation and recognizes the extraordinary progress you've made, she'll regret ever pulling away. Every time you feel that urge to reach out, every time you feel the pain of losing her, remind yourself that this is a pivotal moment, a turning point in your life. This is the point where most men give up, where they succumb to their emotions and abandon their efforts to improve themselves. But you're not most men. You're better than that. You're not going to crumble under this pressure, instead, you're going to build yourself up, brick by brick, into an impenetrable fortress of strength and resilience. Use that pain as motivation to hit the gym harder, to work longer hours, to improve every aspect of your life, from your physical fitness to your financial stability to your intellectual curiosity. The best revenge isn't getting her back, it's becoming the man she regrets losing, the man she realizes she underestimated, the man she wishes she had appreciated more. Number 7. Building emotional strength. This isn't just about getting her back, it's about building emotional strength, a fortress of inner resilience that shields you from the vagaries of external circumstances and empowers you to navigate the challenges of life with grace and equanimity. This is about cultivating a sense of self-worth that is independent of external validation, about developing the inner resources to maintain your composure in the face of adversity, and about becoming the kind of man who is unshakable, grounded, and impervious to the emotional manipulations of others. You need to become emotionally bulletproof, to develop a level of inner strength that makes you immune to the emotional fluctuations of those around you, including women. You need to become unshakable, to cultivate a sense of inner stability that allows you to remain centered and grounded, regardless of the external pressures or challenges you face. And you need to become grounded in who you are as a man, to develop a clear sense of your values, your purpose, and your identity, so that no one can ever shake your confidence or undermine your self-worth. Because the stronger you are emotionally, the less you'll rely on external validation, and the more attractive you become to women and everyone around you. Emotional strength is the foundation of every successful relationship, the bedrock upon which meaningful connections are built. It's also the key to success in every area of life, from your career to your personal relationships to your overall sense of well-being. Without it, you're constantly swayed by what other people think, say, or do. You're vulnerable to criticism, easily discouraged by setbacks, and overly reliant on external approval for your sense of self-worth. When you don't have emotional strength, every little test or pullback from her feels like a personal attack, or rejection of your worth as a man. You take everything personally, reacting emotionally to her moods, her words, and her actions, allowing her to dictate your emotional state and control your sense of well-being. But when you're emotionally strong, you rise above it. You become the kind of man who doesn't let anyone dictate his feelings or reactions. You're able to remain calm, composed, and centered, regardless of her behavior, knowing that your value doesn't come from her approval, it comes from within. And that's the key to long-term attraction. Women are naturally drawn to men who are in control of their emotions, who don't get rattled easily, and who stay grounded even whenever everything else feels unstable. They want a partner who can provide stability, support, and unwavering presence in the face of challenges. Number 8, making her miss you. Here's the secret to making her miss you, the subtle art of igniting her desire and making her yearn for your presence in her life. Stop giving her attention. Stop validating her, stop seeking her approval, and stop showering her with affection. When you pull back, when you create a space where your absence is felt, she'll start missing you because you're no longer readily available. And in a world where everyone is constantly connected, where attention is a scarce commodity, your absence will be the loudest message you can send. Absence makes the heart grow fond. When you're always around, always available, always showering her with attention and affection, she doesn't have the chance to miss you. She becomes accustomed to your presence, taking your affection for granted and failing to appreciate the value you bring to her life. But when you go silent, when you remove yourself from her life, when you create a void where your presence once was, she starts to feel that void. She starts to realize what she's been missing, what she's taken for granted, and what she's potentially lost. Women, especially in today's world, are surrounded by attention. Social media likes, texts from guys, compliments, and validation come from everywhere, creating a constant barrage of noise that drowns out genuine connection. But all of that is just noise, fleeting and superficial. When you go silent, you break through that noise, you cut through the superficiality and create a space for her to truly recognize your value. She starts thinking, why isn't he texting me? Why isn't he liking my pictures? What's going on? Has he lost interest? That silence creates mystery, and mystery creates attraction. It piques her curiosity, ignites her imagination, and makes her wonder what's going on behind the curtain of your silence. Imagine this scenario: you're the guy who's always reacting to her Instagram posts, liking her photos, commenting on her stories. You think you're showing interest, demonstrating your affection, and keeping yourself on her radar. But in her eyes, you're just another guy trying to get her attention, another face in the crowd vying for her validation. But when you stop reacting, when you don't like her latest selfie, when you don't comment on her new post, she notices. It's human nature. The more you withhold your attention, the more valuable it becomes. She'll start to wonder why you're not giving her the validation she's used to, why you're not responding to her subtle cues, and what's changed in your perception of her. And that's where the magic happens. She starts to question her assumptions, to reevaluate her position in your life, and to wonder if she's underestimated your value. Maybe she posts a story out with her friends, laughing, having fun, and projecting an image of carefree enjoyment. She's used to you checking in with a "looks like a good time" message, subtly signaling your interest and seeking her attention. But this time, you don't react. You don't watch her story, you don't like her post, you don't send her a message. In her mind, she's thinking, did I lose him? Is he seeing someone else? Is he no longer interested in me? That uncertainty is powerful. It eats away at her, fuels her curiosity, and makes her question her assumptions about your feelings. And the more she doesn't hear from you, the more she starts to miss you, to yearn for your attention, and to reevaluate your value in her life. If she tries to get your attention by posting thirst traps or indirect messages on social media, subtly attempting to gauge your interest and elicit a response, stay cool. Don't engage. Let her feel that you're out of reach, that your attention is no longer readily available, and that she's going to have to work to earn it back. Your lack of reaction will drive her crazy. It will fuel her curiosity, ignite her imagination, and make her think about you more than ever. In the era of constant communication, where everyone is vying for attention and validation, your silence is golden. It's a rare and valuable commodity that will set you apart from the crowd and make you incredibly desirable. When she realizes she can't get your attention like before, when she recognizes that she's no longer the center of your universe, she'll be the one chasing after you, trying to figure out what changed, what she did wrong, and how she can regain your affection. Remember, it's all about flipping the script, about changing the dynamics of the relationship, and about transforming yourself into the man she desires. In a world where everyone is constantly connected, you stand out by being the one who isn't, by being the man who is independent, self-assured, and emotionally strong. When you stop showing up in her notifications, when you remove yourself from the constant stream of noise and attention that surrounds her, you're no longer just another face in the crowd. You're now the silence she can't ignore, the mystery she's desperate to solve, and the man she's determined to win back. And that silence, that deliberate absence, is the most powerful tool in your arsenal to make her miss you, to ignite her desire, and to transform yourself into the man she craves. Number 9. What to do when she reaches out. When she finally reaches out, when she breaks the silence and attempts to re-establish contact, it's time to stay calm and play it cool. Don't jump right back into the same dynamic that caused her to pull away in the first place. Don't revert to your old patterns of behavior, showering her with attention, seeking her validation, and readily available at her every beck and call. This is your moment to show her that you've changed, that you're not the same guy who used to hang on her every word, and that you're no longer willing to settle for a relationship where she holds all the power. Keep it short, keep it confident, and let her work for your attention. The key here is to not show her that you're overly eager, desperate, or still clinging to the hope of rekindling the relationship. When she reaches out, she's testing the waters, subtly gauging your interest and attempting to assess your emotional state. Maybe she misses you, maybe she's curious about what you've been up to, or maybe she's just looking for validation and reassurance that she still holds a place in your heart. But regardless of why she's reaching out, the worst thing you can do is respond immediately with a long, emotional message, pouring out your feelings and revealing how much you've missed her. She'll see right through that, recognizing your underlying neediness and knowing that she still has power over you. Instead, you need to remain composed, exuding an air of indifference and subtly communicating that you're doing just fine without her. Let her know that you've been busy with your own projects, pursuing your own goals, and living a fulfilling life, independent of her presence. Show her that you're not the same guy who used to revolve around her, and that she needs to work for your time and attention. Here's a practical example. If she sends a casual message like, "Hey, how have you been?" don't respond right away. Give it some time. Wait a few hours, even a day, before responding. This demonstrates that you're not sitting by your phone, eagerly awaiting her message, and that you have other priorities in your life. When you do respond, keep it short and indifferent, avoiding any hint of emotional vulnerability or lingering affection. Try something like, "Hey, I've been good, busy with some projects. How about you?" Notice how you're not giving her any emotional leverage here. You're simply stating that you've been busy in moving forward with your life, subtly signaling that your world doesn't revolve around her. This keeps her wondering if she still holds a place in your world, if you've moved on to someone else, or if you've simply lost interest in her. By delaying your response and keeping it brief, you're signaling to her that your life doesn't revolve around her anymore, and that she needs to work to regain your attention. She'll start to think, has he moved on? Is he seeing someone else? Why isn't he as interested as before? This uncertainty is exactly what you want to create. It keeps her intrigued, challenges her assumptions, and, more importantly, makes her realize that she doesn't have the same control over you as she once did. But here's the important part, don't fall back into old habits after she reaches out. It's tempting to want to rekindle things quickly, especially if she seems interested again and is actively seeking your attention. But remember, this is about resetting the power dynamic, about transforming the relationship into one where you hold the upper hand. Let her come to you, let her work to regain your attention, and resist the urge to jump back into the same patterns of behavior that led to her pulling away in the first place. Respond when necessary, but always keep the upper hand by staying focused on your own life and goals, maintaining your emotional detachment, and resisting the urge to shower her with affection. Let's say she asks to meet up, maybe she says, we should hang out sometime, or, I miss you, let's catch up. Instead of jumping at the opportunity, eagerly agreeing to her suggestion and rearranging your schedule to accommodate her, play it cool. Respond with something like, yeah, maybe. I've got a lot going on this week, but we'll see. This keeps the control firmly in your hands. You're showing her that she's no longer your top priority, that you have a life outside of her, and that she needs to fit into your schedule, not the other way around. Women are naturally drawn to men who have purpose and direction, who are passionate about their lives, and who aren't desperately seeking external validation. When she sees that you're not dropping everything to meet her or shower her with attention, it sends a clear signal that you have a life, that you value your time, and that she's no longer the center of your universe. This reversal in the dynamic will make her want you more, because now she has to earn your time and attention again. It also makes you more attractive, because you've demonstrated emotional strength, independence, and a clear sense of self-worth, traits that are irresistible to most women. Don't let her know how much you've missed her or how hard it's been without her, even if you've been thinking about her constantly and struggling to resist the urge to reach out. Keep your emotions in check, maintain your composure, and stay on the path of self-improvement, focusing on your own goals and continuing to elevate your life. When she comes back, she should see a version of you that's even better than before, a version that doesn't need her validation to feel complete, and a version that is confident, successful, and self-assured. Number 10, reinstate boundaries and power dynamics. Once she's back, once she's actively pursuing your attention and expressing a desire to be in your life again, the power dynamics have to change. You can't simply go back to the same situation where she had the upper hand, where she dictated the terms of the relationship, and where you were constantly chasing her approval. This time, it's different. You need to make sure she knows you're not the guy who's going to chase, and that if she wants to stay in your life, she's going to have to respect your boundaries, value your time, and treat you with the respect you deserve. The only way she's coming back is on your terms, not hers. When she reaches out, when she expresses a desire to rekindle the relationship, you can't just welcome her back with open arms, acting like nothing happened and reverting to your old patterns of behavior. You have to reset the relationship dynamics and make it clear that you're in control now, that you've changed, and that you're not going to tolerate being taken for granted. She needs to know you've changed, that you're not the same guy who was at her beck and call, responding to every little thing she did, and eagerly awaiting her every message. She'll be expecting the old you, the one who was always available, always eager to please, and always desperate for her approval. But what she needs to find is a man who values himself first and foremost, a man who is confident, self-assured, and unwilling to compromise his own needs and boundaries to appease her. Here's the deal, when she comes back, she needs to earn her place in your life again. Don't give her the same level of access she had before, the same level of intimacy, or the same level of emotional investment. If she was your main priority before, she's not anymore. She's going to have to prove herself, show you that she values your time, respects your new boundaries, and is willing to invest in a relationship where you are treated as an equal partner. You have to communicate these boundaries clearly, but calmly. Don't be aggressive, defensive, or accusatory. Instead, let her know that things have changed, that you've evolved, and that if she wants to be part of your life, she needs to respect the new dynamic. Let her feel that her past behavior won't be tolerated anymore, that you're not the man she pulled away from, and that she needs to rise to your level if she wants to be with you. When she tries to reach out, don't immediately jump into long conversations or make plans to meet up. Instead, keep the initial interactions light, casual, and controlled. If she asks to meet, let her know you're busy, that you have a lot going on, and that you'll get back to her when you have time. This way, you're establishing that your time is valuable, that you have other priorities in your life, and that she can no longer expect you to be available at the snap of her fingers. The key here is consistency. Boundaries only work if you maintain them. If she tries to test you again by pulling back, playing games, or disrespecting your boundaries, you need to stand firm. She should know that if she crosses the line, you're willing to walk away without hesitation, no more second chances. This is about respect, and if she can't give you that, then she doesn't deserve your time or attention. She needs to see that you've transformed into a high-value man, one who doesn't tolerate disrespect or games, one who is confident in his worth, and one who is willing to walk away from any situation that doesn't align with his values. By establishing clear boundaries, you not only command her respect, but you also ensure that the power dynamic stays balanced, preventing her from regaining control and reverting to the patterns of behavior that led to her pulling away in the first place. If she wants to be in your life, she's going to have to work for it this time, and that's how you keep the upper hand, transforming the relationship into one where you are treated as an equal partner and where your needs and boundaries are respected. This isn't just about getting her back, this is about transforming yourself into the kind of man who doesn't need to chase, who is confident in his worth, and who is capable of attracting the kind of relationships he desires. In essence, this journey is about transforming yourself into the kind of man who is intrinsically attractive, who radiates confidence, self-respect, and inner strength, and who is capable of creating meaningful and fulfilling relationships based on mutual respect and genuine admiration. You are the prize, you are the one in control, and you are the master of your own destiny. By focusing on your growth, setting boundaries, and mastering your emotional strength, you've completely changed the game. She's going to come back, because now you're a challenge, a man she can't easily control, and a prize worth fighting for. But the real power isn't in making her come back, it's in becoming the kind of man who can walk away if she doesn't rise to your level, the kind of man who is confident in his worth and secure in his identity, regardless of external validation. This journey isn't just about fixing a broken relationship, it's about fixing yourself, about becoming the best version of yourself possible, and about creating a life that is filled with purpose, passion, and unwavering self-belief. And when you do that, when you put in the work, when you elevate your life, you won't just have one woman wanting your attention, you'll have options, an abundance of opportunities to connect with people who value you for who you are and who are willing to invest in a relationship where you are treated with the respect and admiration you deserve. And that is what makes you unstoppable. You are no longer the guy begging for her approval, the one who is constantly seeking her validation, and the one who is defined by her actions. You're the guy who commands respect effortlessly, the one who radiates confidence and self-assurance, and the one who is in control of his own destiny. She'll notice, everyone will notice, and when she comes crawling back, it won't even matter if you take her back or not, because you'll have become the kind of man who is complete within himself, who is independent of external validation, and who is capable of creating a fulfilling and meaningful life, regardless of whether she's a part of it or not. That is what truly matters, your own inner peace, your own self-worth, and your own ability to create a life that is aligned with your values and your aspirations. Now, it's time to act. This isn't a video you just watch and forget, a fleeting moment of inspiration that fades into the background of your life. This is a wake-up call, a challenge to step into your power, to reclaim your worth, and to transform yourself into the man you were always meant to be. If you're serious about taking control of your life, about transforming your relationships, and about creating a future that is aligned with your values, it starts now. Don't just sit back and let the same old patterns run your relationships, don't continue to settle for less than you deserve, and don't allow yourself to be defined by the actions of others. It's time to become the high-value man you were always meant to be, the one who is confident, self-assured, and capable of attracting the kind of relationships he truly desires. If you're ready to turn your pain into power, to stop chasing and start living on your own terms, to break free from the patterns that have been holding you back, then hit that subscribe button right now. This channel is where you'll find the tools, the mindset, and the strategies to elevate every aspect of your life, to transform your relationships, and to create a future that is filled with purpose, passion, and unwavering self-belief. Like this video if you found even one piece of advice that hit home, if you resonated with even one of the insights shared, and if you're ready to commit to transforming yourself into the man you were always meant to be. And share it with someone who's stuck in the same cycle, someone who is struggling to break free from the patterns that are holding them back, and someone who deserves to know that they have the power to create a better future for themselves. Don't wait for change, create it. The first step to becoming the man who commands respect and attention, the man who is confident in his worth, and the man who is in control of his destiny starts here, with you, right now. Embrace the challenge, commit to the journey, and transform yourself into the high-value man you were always meant to be. This discourse unveils the paradigm shift needed in male-female dynamics, ceasing the chase and becoming the pursued. It dismantles the effort equals affection myth, exposing how overeagerness diminishes value. Understanding why a woman withdraws is paramount, often a power imbalance where she feels overly in control. Emotional detachment emerges as a potent tool, creating space and igniting desire by ceasing validation seeking. Avoiding common mistakes like panicked texting and social media engagement is crucial to maintaining power. The no-contact rule serves as psychological warfare, disrupting her control and forcing her to reevaluate. Staying focused during no contact involves self-improvement, channeling heartbreak into personal growth. Building emotional strength makes one bulletproof, unshakable, and less reliant on external validation. Making her miss you entails stopping attention and validation, using absence as a powerful message. When she reaches out, staying calm, cool, and controlled is essential, indicating change. Reinstate boundaries and power dynamics, ensuring respect and preventing a return to old patterns. Ultimately, this is not just about getting her back, but about transforming into a high-value man who controls his destiny and is ready to walk away if disrespect arises, leading to fulfilling relationships rooted in mutual respect and personal growth.